It's me, Renee. I'm back. And I'm back, as you can see, with another recommendation video. This one being from the prompt, a difficult love story. Right. Complicated love interest. Well, complicated, difficult, kind of same as it was. And I suppose I could just easily say, like, all the books, because I would say most of the books have this really in it. I mean, even if it's not a romance, even if it's not a romance book, if you have romance in a book, you can't really have it be easy, because then, I mean, things being easy, that's just not interesting and fun. So you kind of have to have something difficult in a way. But yeah, I did find some books. Also, I was like, yeah, as I said, most books have some. Yeah, it's the sun coming. You know what? It was just too much sun. So yeah, I'm back. But yeah, most stories have some sort of like complicated love relationship. But I did find some books that are extra difficult for some reason or another. That yeah, of course, I recommend. First, let's go with this one. Timekeeper by Tara Sim. So this one is set in the 1800s. It's set in an alternative universe. So alternative universe. Well, it's supposed to be in my universe. Okay, alternative world, because I suppose what's the difference between alternative universe and alternative world? Anyway, okay, so this is set like in a world like ours. You have England, India. A lot of the real life history happened, like the Indians wanted to, well, Indians, the people in India wanting to be free from their British Empire, those kinds of stuff. But there's also some stuff that's different. For example, in this world, people's lives are controlled by clock towers. So, like, if a clock tower is destroyed, then that town is kind of stuck in time, kind of, I suppose, in a way, slightly like Groundhog Day, but like more creepy, I would say, in a way. And yeah, so there's kind of fun time magic in this story universe. And the the main love story is between a moment. Blah 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 blah. It doesn't say the name here. I've read it, but it's been a long while. I'm just gonna double check what the name is of the. Yeah, it's between Danny. So like the main character is called Danny, and his love interest is a clock tower spirit. So I suppose in a way it's kind of like a clock tower ghost. Well, it's not exactly a ghost, it's a ghost-ish. So yeah, I mean that's not really a. I mean, whenever you have a love story between a human and someone from a different species, it's always not the easiest. There's always some few small obstacles to get past. And yeah, as I said, this is a great series. Well, great series. It's trilogy, though I would say like the best book actually is the first book. But the first and second book is also good. The third book is like, what happened here? But I suppose if you're completist, you could read the whole series and maybe you'll enjoy it in a different way than I did. But for me, I would say like the first two books are kind of essential and the best books. So yeah. Then we have The Perks of Being a Wallflower. Sorry, The Perks of Loving a Wallflower by Erica Riley. So as you might have guessed, this is both historical from the dresses, but it's also sapphic love story. It is set in a real world. It's not like a story with magic. It's I was about to say I know if this was told in history. Well, because it's based in real life, like it's based in real history. But I don't. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not real life people they use. Like, so might allude some people, real life people here and there, but like mostly it's made up people. But anyway, yeah, this is set in a world in the 1800s where being gay is illegal, as it was in real life, sadly. But still, they end like this couple end up together. So I suppose in a way it was kind of easier. I mean, just kind of not easy, but easier for females because I'm not quite sure. Like in general, I think a lot of countries have like a rule of, like you couldn't be together with another man, but they never had a law like that for females because females don't have sex. Females don't have sex life. We could never do that. Like that was out of the question completely. I suppose because of like in the ancient time, like Romans had like lots of people were gay in that time, so it's kind of known with like lesbians. So maybe it seems like a new concept. I don't know. But spoiler alert, this is romance, and they do end up together in the end. So yeah, it's a lovely sapphic romance in a historical period. So if you wanted that kind of thing, and it's also kind of like there's also what's the word again? There's also a kind of mystery involved in the story as well. All of the Eric list, all of this series anyway, has like a mystery aspect to it as well. So yeah, it's not huge at all. So I would say yeah, if you kind of want to buy something new or suppose try to find it in a library, I would say definitely check out this one for next week because yeah, it's an amazing read. Like the whole of this series, the Adventure series, it's just amazing. Highly recommend it. And then we have a red, white, and royal blue. So this is a complicated, well, probably more, so everyone has already heard of this, but yeah, it's a love story between the son of the American president and an English prince. Well, an English prince, like the English prince. He's not a crown prince, but it's a prince. So yeah, there's kind of the world's against them. I suppose like tradition is against them. The prince is in a closet, and at the beginning, the American, well, the son of the American president, he thinks he's straight, but he understands kind of soon that he's bisexual. So yeah, so there's like things going against them, like from like their family. Well, the American's family is for him, but the British family is kind of like, no, you can't be gay. So yeah, a lot of things are against this couple. This couple. But yeah, it's all in all, it's just a lovely story. So definitely, I'll say definitely check it out. And then we have Pride, a non-fiction book. But I mean, I mean, it's not like you have to just read fiction for this readathon. So, and yeah, Pride, it's all about the LGBTQ people who went to Wales in the 80s to like help the miners who were on strike around that time. They kind of wanted to help them in solidarity. And even though this book is kind of this book, and also I suppose you might have guessed it looks like a movie, and yeah, a movie based on this book, on the real life things that happened, has been made. And the movie is kind of very, very like a happy gay movie. I mean, often at least like before, gay movies were often like sad and all about like everyone's against me and I'm going to jail and stuff. But like this is the happy story, though it's not completely happy, but it is pretty much happy. But yeah, I mean, they are gay in the 1980s, so even though the it's their their sexuality is legal, it's still all this kind of thinking of like, oh, AIDS, and they're still ostracized from the community, and so it's not easy being gay. Well, I would say probably never really been easy being gay. So, but yeah. Anyway, this book I recommend it. Very good. Not that long either, and a great movie. Check it out. Then we have The Last Beginning by Lauren James. So this is the second in duology, though I suppose you don't have to read them both, really. And I would say also like this one kind of contradicts a bit the first book, but yeah, you don't really want to go nitpicking it really. And yeah, this one has a love story, sapphic love story again. Yeah, and it's between a female in like present time and a female in the future. So like they live in different times. So how's this gonna work? So yeah, it's kind of that's kind of the big obstacle I would say. And yeah, it's a very good book. Both books are very good. And yeah, check it out if you like timey wimey time travel shenanigans. Check out this book. Then we have The Narrator by Meg Cabot. So this is kind of bound up for the first two books, but yeah, it's kind of like a also like stand-in for whole series. So in this series, Sue Simon she falls in love. Not like it's not like a quick fall in love. Like she falls in love over the whole series, like slowly. But yeah, her love interest is a ghost. So yeah, I mean that's not the easiest really. As I said, when you have a human and a non-human being together, it's never easy. Spoiler alert, they find a way to make it work, but yeah, for a while it's quite complicated. So yeah, this series, highly recommend it. And then we have the Geek Girl series. So in this one, Harriet, the first book she kind of becomes model, and she meets a co-model, fellow model. She meets another model, and they start to flirt, and then well, they meet and they kind of become a thing. But the thing is, he's been a model for a few years. She hasn't, so she's at the beginning of her journey, and he's I suppose more at the end in a way. And also he lives at the other end of the world. So even though like also yeah, for at the beginning he lives also in England, but after a while he moves, and then long distance is hard. So that's kind of like the issue for these two people. And as well, spoiler alert, they end up together in the end. And yeah, just an amazing read to read in general. And then we have A Caribbean Heiress in Paris by Adriana Herrera. This one came out this year, and I read it myself, not yourself, yeah, myself, yeah. One of my favorite reads of this year, very good. It's not a complicated love story directly because they kind of get together quite quickly, or like they understand, but they both have like attraction to each other quite quickly. But at the same time, it's kind of like uh, the main character, Luz. She isn't interested in love story or like being together with someone. She wants to be with herself. And also like the James, he's not really either interested in love, but like so it's I suppose more inconvenient love than like complicated because they do both like each other pretty soon, and it's not like they have a lot of things against them. But I mean it's a bit complicated. So I'm just gonna just gonna add this to the recommendation because it's also just an amazing read. You probably have heard of it, maybe, if you read romance or historical romance. If you haven't, check it out. Amazing book. And then we have The Duke Heist. Yes, another historical romance. This is the first in the series I talked about earlier, the Winchester series. So this one I would say it's complicated in a way that the couple in this one, Chloe and Lawrence, they're enemies or mortal enemies. Or Chloe for like Lawrence is Chloe's enemy, but like Lawrence, he doesn't really think about Chloe at all. So like they kind of live in different worlds in a way. So they shouldn't be together. But yeah, it's not a Romeo and Juliet thingy, but I suppose it's kind of is. But yeah, they do end up together. Spoiler alert. And it's just a great story. I just love it so much. Also read this year, and yeah, honestly, I think it might be one of my favorite reads of all time. So, and it's also not long at all, so you could easily pick it up if you want to check it out this week, well, this week, next week. And then we have, sorry, then we have The Bone Spindle by Leslie Vedder. This is actually first in a duology, first in series. I'm not quite sure no series. No, there's going to be a second one coming up next year. Anyway, it's not really a retelling of specific story. Like it's hints of Sleeping Beauty, but I would say it's kind of more like a remix, like of fairy tale tropes and stuff like that. So like, for example, there's kind of this treasure hunters. It's been described as Indiana Jones meets Akotar, which I don't know. I get the Indiana Jones aspect of it. Actor, I'm not quite sure, but I mean, in this universe where you have fairies, where you have magicians, kind of all these kind of people aspects and curses, and a person who's cursed. Like often in like stories and fairy tales, the person who's cursed is a princess. Here, the person that's cursed is a prince. So that's yeah, quite fun. And this love story there, that's kind of I would say the main love story between a cursed prince and a treasure hunter, and she's also kind of cursed in a way. I suppose yeah, they are actually both cursed. And then there's also a secondary love story, though that's not really as big. And I suppose I'm quite unsure. Yeah, I think the secondary long story is not. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, and yeah, this is just a great read. Definitely check it out. And then we have, as always, I kind of like I can never talk about like a recommendation video without mentioning this book, but I mean it fits in so many ways. So yeah, it is. Can you guess it? Maybe you can. Maybe you're new here, but if you haven't been before, you can guess. It is Invisibility by Andrea Kramer and Dale Leviton. So I mean, this one, they're both humans, but one of them actually is like Steven. He's cursed, and Elizabeth, she can see curses. So that's why she can see him, but anyone else can't because he's invisible. So it's kind of like that's kind of like big, complicated for them, complication for them there really, and it's just an amazing story. Like it's set in New York, so it has kind of that urban feel to it, but there's also like a magical feel to it, and it's just great character kind of stories, and it's just yeah, I mean, it's one of those books I would say that's perfect in every way. It's just I don't have any complaints at all. Other complaints, maybe I kind of would want maybe like have a spin-off or maybe sequel because it kind of ends a bit sad, but at the same time it kind of ends in a nice way. It's not like it ends on a cliffhanger. So yeah, and yeah, that's my little recommendation for today for complicated love interests. If you read any of these books, if you have any complicated love interests to recommend me, please do. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.